The massive spaceship appeared over Seoul on a quiet Tuesday morning. It hung in the sky like a giant silver disk, bigger than any building humans had ever made. People stopped their cars in the middle of the streets to look up. Children pressed their faces against classroom windows. The world held its breath. No one panicked. After years of movies about alien invasions, the reality felt almost calm. The ship didn't fire any weapons. It just waited. In his office at the United Nations, Ambassador Kehoe Park straightened his tie and watched the screens showing news from every country. The same ship appeared over every major city on Earth at the same time. 20 identical ships, silent and peaceful. "Sir," his assistant said, "they're sending a message." The message came through every phone, radio, and television on Earth. It used perfect Korean, perfect English, perfect Chinese, every language at once. The voice was gentle and clear. "People of Earth, we are the Galactic Federation. We come in peace and with an interesting offer." Kehoe took a deep breath. After 30 years as a diplomat, this would be his most important meeting. The Federation had chosen him as humanity's first contact. The meeting room was simple. Kehoe sat at one end of a table, facing 3 aliens. They looked almost human, except for their blue skin and large eyes. The one in the middle smiled. "Ambassador Park," the alien said, "we have been watching Earth for a long time. Your planet is special." Kehoe nodded politely. "Special in what way?" "Earth is what we call a Class 12 Deathworld," the alien explained. "The gravity is very strong. The weather is extreme. You have earthquakes, volcanoes, and powerful storms. You have dangerous animals and deadly diseases. Most species would die here in days." Kehoe looked confused. "But this is normal for us." "Exactly." The alien seemed excited. "Your people don't just survive here. You thrive. You build cities in deserts and on mountains. You live in the coldest and hottest places. You adapt to everything." Another alien spoke up. "We need that strength. The Federation is peaceful, but we have enemies. We need soldiers who can fight on dangerous planets. We want Earth to join the Federation and share your special abilities." Kehoe thought about this. "You want our soldiers. We want your training methods, your experience. Every nation on Earth has special forces trained for different environments. Russian soldiers who fight in the coldest places, Australian troops who survive in burning deserts, Brazilian teams who move through deadly jungles." The first alien stood up. "If Earth joins us, your soldiers will become the most respected warriors in the galaxy. Every nation can share their skills. You will help protect 1,000 worlds." Kehoe looked at the papers in front of him. The Federation was offering amazing things: new technology, cures for diseases, clean energy. All they wanted was Earth's military expertise. "I will take your offer to the United Nations," Kehoe said. "But I have one question. Why now? Why contact us today?" The aliens looked at each other. The third one, who hadn't spoken yet, leaned forward. "Because, Ambassador Park, we are running out of time. There is a war coming. A war that can only be won by soldiers who can fight in places that would kill most species. We need Earth's Deathworld soldiers." Kehoe stood up slowly. Through the window, he could see the huge ship floating above the city. He thought about all the action movies he'd watched where aliens invaded Earth. Now it seemed the aliens weren't invading. They were recruiting. "I will deliver your message," he said. "And I think Earth will say yes. We've been hoping to find other life in space, but we never thought we'd be the tough ones." The alien smiled. "Welcome to the galaxy, Ambassador Park. Earth's time has come." As Kehoe left the room, he was already thinking about how to explain this to the world. Humanity wasn't just joining the galactic community. They were about to become its greatest defenders. Major Ji-won Lee stood at the window of the International Military Command Center in Geneva, watching the snowfall. 1 month had passed since the aliens arrived. Now came the hard part. On his desk lay files from every nation on Earth. Each country had sent their best soldiers, men and women who had mastered the most difficult environments on the planet. His job was to build them into one team. "Major," a voice called from the doorway. "The first candidates have arrived." Captain Haenul Kim walked into the room, covered in snow. Despite the freezing weather, he wore only a light jacket. After 15 years leading Russia's Arctic warfare unit, this Swiss winter probably felt warm to him. "Welcome to Geneva," Jai-1 said. "How was your trip from Siberia?" Haenul smiled. "Warmer than home. Are the others here?" As if answering his question, Lieutenant Su-Jin Kang appeared. She had just flown in from the Australian outback, where she commanded desert operations. Her dark uniform still had red dust on it. "The temperature here is terrible," Su-Jin said, rubbing her arms. "Give me a hot desert any day." Jai-1 looked at his two first officers. They were opposites in every way. Haenul thrived in the cold, while Su-Jin mastered the heat. This was exactly what the Federation wanted, soldiers who could handle any environment. More officers arrived throughout the day. Each one was special. The Brazilian jungle warfare expert who could survive in the thickest rainforest, the Canadian mountain troops who climbed the highest peaks, the Egyptian desert scouts who could cross burning sand without water. Jai-1 gathered them in the main hall. 50 soldiers from 30 nations stood before him. The best Earth had to offer. "You all know why you're here," he began. "The Federation needs soldiers who can fight on deadly worlds. Each of you is an expert in surviving somewhere most people cannot go. Together, we will become the Federation's elite force." He showed them pictures from alien worlds, planets with acid rain and burning skies, worlds covered in ice or endless desert, places where the air itself could kill. "Other species think these planets are impossible to fight on," Jai-1 continued. "But look at Earth. We have all of these things. Deserts, ice fields, deep jungles, high mountains, everything that kills aliens. We've learned to survive." Haenul raised his hand. "How do we start?" Jai-1 pressed a button, and a large screen showed a distant planet. "This is our first training ground. The Federation calls it Death Valley 2. 3 times Earth's gravity. Temperature shifts from freezing to boiling every day. Storms that can tear apart ships." Su-Jin smiled. "Sounds like fun." "The Federation thinks this planet is impossible to fight on," Jai-1 said. "We're going to prove them wrong. Each of you will share your skills. Arctic troops will teach cold survival. Desert units will teach heat endurance. Mountain teams will teach high-gravity techniques." He looked at the faces before him. Some were excited, others nervous. All were ready. "The galaxy thinks Earth is a deadly world," he finished. "They're right. But that's our strength. We are Earth's Deathworld soldiers, and we're about to show the galaxy what humanity can do." As the officers left to prepare, Jai-1 watched them go. Aliens thought Earth was too dangerous for normal life, but humans had done more than survive here. They had learned to fight in every deadly place on the planet. Now it was time to take those skills to the stars. The selection was complete. The training would begin tomorrow, and soon the galaxy would learn why Earth's soldiers were the best choice for impossible missions. Commander Ta-Wan Choi watched the soldiers climb the steep mountain path. The air was thin at this height in the Himalayas, but none of them showed signs of stopping. The Federation had given Earth 3 months to prepare their forces. They had already used 1 month. "The Brazilian team is doing well," said Sergeant Min-Ki Park, standing beside him. Min-Ki's jungle warfare unit was used to hot, wet environments. Here in the cold mountain air, they had struggled at first, but they learned quickly. "All the teams are improving," Ta-Wan said. "Watch this." He pressed a button on his tablet. Suddenly, the training field changed. The Federation's technology could alter the environment instantly. The cold mountain air became thick and humid. The rocky ground turned to deep mud. The clear sky filled with acid rain. The soldiers didn't panic. The Brazilian team immediately took the lead, showing others how to move through the mud. The Russian Arctic team shared their protective gear techniques. The Australian Desert Unit taught everyone how to keep their equipment dry in the worst conditions. They work together now, Min Ki said with pride. No more fighting about whose training is better. Taiwan remembered the first week of training. The different teams had argued constantly. The desert soldiers thought the Arctic teams were too slow. The mountain units didn't trust the jungle fighters' methods. Every nation thought their way was best. But then they faced their first real challenge. The Federation had sent them to a training planet where the gravity was twice as strong as Earth's. No team could handle it alone. Only by combining their skills did they survive. The Arctic teams knew how to move while carrying heavy gear. The desert units understood how to conserve energy. The jungle fighters had techniques for climbing in difficult conditions. The mountain troops knew the best ways to breathe in thin air. "Commander," a voice called out, "we have visitors." 3 Federation officials appeared, wearing protective suits against Earth's deadly environment. They watched the training with obvious surprise. "Impossible," one official said. "This environment would kill most species. How can they train in these conditions?" Taiwan smiled. "On Earth, we call this Tuesday." The officials watched as the training continued. The environment changed again, now to burning hot desert, then to freezing tundra, then to high-pressure depths like the bottom of an ocean. Each time, the soldiers adapted. Each team shared their knowledge, making everyone stronger. "We didn't understand at first," Taiwan explained to the officials. "Each nation developed different skills because Earth forced us to adapt. The Arctic demanded one kind of strength. The deserts required another. The jungles and mountains shaped us in different ways." Min Ki pointed to the soldiers below. "Now we have combined all these skills. Every soldier can survive anywhere. What one team knows, everyone learns." The Federation officials took notes quickly. They had expected Earth's armies to be strong. They hadn't expected them to work together so well. As the day ended, Taiwan gathered the troops. They were tired but proud. Tomorrow they would train in even harder conditions. But now they understood their real strength. "Earth made us tough," he told them. "But working together makes us unbeatable. The galaxy thinks we're just Deathworld soldiers. We're going to show them we're much more. We are humanity's best hope among the stars." The soldiers cheered. In 2 more months, they would face their first real mission. Thanks to their shared training, they would be ready for anything the galaxy could throw at them. Even the Federation was starting to realize they hadn't just recruited soldiers from a death world. They had found the greatest fighting force in the galaxy. Captain Du Yun Ryu checked his equipment one final time as the Federation transport ship entered the atmosphere of planet XK-249. The mission seemed simple: rescue 3 Federation scientists from their research station. The problem was the planet itself. "Surface temperature is 160 degrees, the ship's computer announced. Toxic dust storms approaching from the north. Gravity is 1.5 times Earth standard." Do Yun looked at his team. 20 soldiers from Earth's combined forces sat ready in their seats. They wore special suits designed by Federation engineers, but modified by Earth's desert warfare experts. "Remember your training," Du Yun said through the radio. "This is just like Death Valley, but a little hotter. Nothing we haven't handled before." The ship landed with a soft thud. Through the windows, they could see endless red dunes under 3 burning suns. The dust storm was visible on the horizon, a wall of orange death approaching fast. "Team 1, move out," Du Yun ordered. The first group of soldiers stepped onto the planet's surface. They didn't hesitate or stumble in the stronger gravity. After 3 months of training, this felt normal. The research station sat half-buried in sand about 500 meters away. The dust storm would reach it in 30 minutes. Federation ships couldn't fly in such storms. The dust would destroy their engines. They had to get the scientists out before it hit. Movement detected, one soldier reported. Something big under the sand. Du Yun remembered the briefing. The planet had native life, huge worm-like creatures that sensed vibrations through the ground. His team switched on their sonic disruptors, devices designed by Earth's desert forces to confuse such animals. They'd reached the station's door. Inside, they found the three scientists huddled in environmental suits. The aliens looked surprised to see humans. "You came for us," one scientist asked. "But this planet is classified as unsurvivable." "We're from Earth," Du Yun explained. "This is nothing compared to our training grounds." Suddenly, alarms blared. The dust storm had changed direction. It would hit them in 10 minutes, not 30. Even worse, the station's roof groaned under the growing wind. "New plan," Du Yun announced. "We're not going back to the ship. The storm will tear us apart in the open." He turned to his team. "Australian desert tactics. We dig in and ride it out." The soldiers moved fast. They used their equipment to dig trenches in the hard ground, angling them against the wind. The scientists watched in amazement as the humans created shelter in minutes. "Everyone down," Du Yun shouted as the storm hit. The wind screamed. Sand and rocks flew through the air like bullets. The temperature rose even higher. But in their trenches, protected by their Earth-modified suits, Du Yun's team was safe. For 2 hours, they waited out the storm. The scientists couldn't believe humans could survive such conditions. But for Earth soldiers, this was just another day at work. When the storm passed, they emerged unharmed. The research station was half destroyed, but everyone was alive. The Federation transport ship returned, and the rescue mission was complete. Back on the ship, Du Yun received a message from Federation Command. Their success had not gone unnoticed. Earth's soldiers had proven they could operate in conditions that would kill most species. "Perhaps we underestimated humans," the Federation commander said. "We thought you were just tough. But you're also smart, adaptable, and well-trained." Du Yun smiled. This was only their first mission. Earth's Deathworld soldiers had much more to show the galaxy. "We survived Earth," he replied. "That means we can survive anywhere. And we're ready for bigger challenges." The Federation commander nodded. Little did Du Yun know, those bigger challenges were coming sooner than anyone expected. Colonel Sang-Min Yoon stared at the reports flooding his screen at Federation headquarters. In the past week, 20 Federation outposts had come under attack. Each attack happened on a different planet, but they all shared one thing. The planets were classified as extreme environments. "Show me the pattern again," he ordered his computer. A map of the galaxy appeared, with red dots marking each attack. The dots formed a clear circle around Federation space. An alarm sounded. Another attack had just started, this time on an ice planet called Frost 7. The temperature there was cold enough to freeze metal. No normal species could fight in such conditions. "Get me Earth Command," Sang-Min said. Within seconds, Major Ji-Won Lee appeared on his screen. "Colonel, we're seeing the reports," Ji-Won said. "This isn't random, is it?" "No, the enemy is smart. They're attacking places where Federation forces can't fight back. Every planet they've hit is too hot, too cold, or too dangerous for normal troops." Sang-Min pulled up more data. The attackers were a group called the Star Breakers. They were supposed to be a small rebel group, but these attacks showed they were much stronger. "Look at their weapons," Sang-Min pointed out. "They're using ships designed for extreme environments. Their soldiers wear suits that can handle any condition. They've been planning this for years." A new message appeared. The Star Breakers had released their demands. They wanted control of all frontier worlds, the dangerous planets that most species couldn't live on. "They think those worlds are worthless to the Federation," Ji-Won said. "But they didn't count on Earth joining the alliance." Sang-Min nodded. "That's why the Federation recruited us. They knew this was coming. Earth's soldiers are the only ones who can fight back." He opened a secure channel to all Earth forces. Teams were already deployed across Federation space, training for different environments. Now it was time for real combat. All units, this is Colonel Sang Min-yoon. We have a galaxy-wide emergency. The Starbreakers are attacking worlds they think no one can defend. They're wrong. The response was immediate. Earth's Arctic warfare teams volunteered for Frost 7. Desert combat units prepared for the fire planets. Deep sea specialists suited up for the ocean worlds. The enemy thinks extreme environments are their advantage, Sangmin told them. But we grew up on a world that's more extreme than any of their targets. Earth trained us for this fight. Reports came in from the first counterattacks. On Frost 7, Earth's Arctic teams moved through the killing cold like it was a normal winter day. Their modified Federation weapons worked perfectly in conditions that would shatter normal guns. On the fire planet Vulcan 3, desert warfare units advanced through heat that would melt standard armor. They used techniques perfected in Earth's harshest deserts. The Starbreakers hadn't expected any resistance. They certainly hadn't expected to face soldiers who could not only survive but fight effectively in these deadly environments. Send word to Federation Command, Sangmin ordered. Earth's forces are engaging the enemy on all fronts, and tell them to prepare for a longer campaign. The Starbreakers thought they could hide in the galaxy's most dangerous places. He smiled as more victory reports came in. They didn't realize they were invading our kind of worlds. The uprising had begun. But for the first time, the Federation had soldiers who could fight back. Earth's Deathworld troops were about to show the galaxy why they were the best at fighting in the worst places imaginable. General Hyunwoo Kwon stood in the Federation's Central Command Center, surrounded by holographic displays of 5 different battlefields. Each showed a world that the Starbreakers thought was safe from attack. They were about to learn how wrong they were. All teams, report status, Hyunwoo ordered. One by one, the commanders checked in. The Canadian forces were in position on the ice world of Glacius Prime, where methane storms could freeze a person solid in seconds. Their special suits, designed for Earth's Arctic warfare, but enhanced with Federation technology, kept them alive and moving. Indonesian deep-sea teams waited in the crushing depths of ocean world, where the pressure could flatten normal ships like paper. They had trained for this in Earth's deepest trenches. Norwegian mountain units prepared to climb the crystal cliffs of High Gravity 6, where the intense gravitational pull would break normal bones. But Earth's soldiers had trained for months to handle even stronger gravity. Operation Earthborn begins in 5 minutes, Hyunwoo announced. Remember your training. The enemy thinks these worlds are their shelter. Show them why Earth's soldiers fear no environment. The attack began exactly on time. On Glacius Prime, Canadian teams moved through the methane storms like ghosts. The Starbreakers never saw them coming. Their bases fell one by one. Under the endless oceans of Water World, Indonesian forces used Federation submarines modified with earth-diving techniques. They could operate deeper than any other ships in the galaxy. The rebels' underwater bases stood no chance. On High Gravity 6, Norwegian climbers reached positions the enemy thought impossible to access. Their shots, adjusted for the intense gravity, found their targets with perfect accuracy. Sir, a Federation officer reported to Hyunwoo, the Starbreakers are retreating on all fronts. They're sending out distress signals. They're saying this is impossible. No one should be able to fight in these conditions. Hyunwoo smiled. Send them our response. Tell them, we are Earth's children. These conditions are nothing compared to our training. The battle continued for hours. Earth's forces pushed forward on every world. They used tactics developed over centuries of fighting in Earth's harshest places. The Starbreakers had never faced an enemy who could match them in extreme environments. Federation commanders watched in amazement. They saw Earth troops running through acid rain that would dissolve normal armor. They watched them fight in temperatures that should have killed them instantly. They observed as human soldiers operated in conditions that their best scientists had declared impossible for any life form. "General," one Federation leader said, "we knew Earth was a death world, but we never understood what that truly meant until today." Hyunwoo looked at the battle displays. The Starbreakers were surrendering on every front. Their great advantage, the ability to fight in extreme conditions, had been turned against them. "Earth made us strong," he replied. "Every harsh environment, every deadly condition, every survival challenge, they all prepared us for this day. We're not just soldiers from a death world. We are the Deathworld's chosen warriors." As the operation ended in total victory, Hyunwoo sent a final message to all Earth forces. "Well done, soldiers. Today we proved what Earth has always known. The harder the conditions, the stronger we become. The galaxy will never forget this day." The Starbreakers' uprising was broken, but more importantly, the galaxy had learned a vital lesson. Never underestimate the soldiers of Earth. Intelligence Officer Jae-Yun-ba sat alone in her office at Federation headquarters, reading files that no human was supposed to see. After the success of Operation Earthborn, she had been given access to the Federation's secure databases. What she found there changed everything. The Federation had known about the Starbreakers for 50 years. They had watched the rebel group grow stronger. They had seen them build bases on deadly worlds, and they had done nothing to stop them. "Access file E-157, Jae-Yun said to her computer. A document appeared, dated 10 years before first contact with Earth. The document showed a Federation meeting. The leaders were worried about the Starbreakers. The rebels had found a way to use extreme environments as weapons. They could hide their bases on worlds too dangerous for Federation forces to attack. Then, Jae-Yun found something that made her heart stop. A star map from 30 years ago. It showed Federation ships watching Earth. They had been studying humanity for decades. "Display Federation mission report. Earth observation," she ordered. The report was clear. The Federation had been searching the galaxy for a species that could survive in extreme conditions. They had found many Deathworlds, but most of their inhabitants were too primitive or too aggressive. Then they found Earth, a perfect Class 12 death world with an advanced civilization. Humans had built cities in deserts, jungles, Arctic wastelands, and mountain peaks. They had special forces trained for every deadly environment imaginable. Jae-Yun opened more files. The Federation's plan became clear. They hadn't invited Earth to join them out of kindness. They needed Earth's soldiers. They needed warriors who could fight in conditions that would kill most species. Her computer beeped. A new file had appeared, just declassified. It was a message from the Federation Council, sent the day before first contact with Earth. "The Starbreakers grow stronger." The message read, "They control too many extreme worlds. Our forces cannot fight them there. We need the humans. Their world has made them perfect for this war. Every nation on Earth has soldiers trained for different deadly environments. Together, they will be the weapon we need." Jae-Yun sat back in her chair. The Federation had manipulated Earth. They had waited until the perfect moment, when the Starbreakers were about to attack. Then they had offered Earth membership, technology, and medical advances, all to get access to humanity's Deathworld soldiers. But something unexpected had happened. Earth's forces hadn't just won the war. They had exceeded all expectations. Human soldiers could fight in places that the Federation had thought impossible. They adapted faster, fought smarter, and worked together better than anyone had predicted. Jae-Yun sent a message to Earth Command, attaching the key files she had found. They needed to know the truth. The Federation had seen Earth as a source of useful soldiers, but now they had to see humanity as equals. Her computer screen lit up with a new alert. The Federation Council was calling an emergency meeting. They knew she had found their secret. "Let them worry," Jae-Yun said to herself. "Earth is no one's secret weapon. We are partners now, whether they like it or not." The truth was out. Earth hadn't just joined the galactic community. They had become its strongest defenders. And now it was time for the Federation to treat them with the respect they deserved.